Hey everybody, Kerzac here again, and back with another review. Today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series 86 Gnaw figure, or Sharkticon Gnaw. Basically just the Sharkticons of your army building. So Gnaw's been the name we've been using for a few years for the Sharkticons whenever we do occasionally get one. You know, that was the name we used in Titan's Return. I believe Cyberverse also got a figure that was more the Warrior class scale. That was actually pretty close to this in scale, but was just the Titan's Return figure a little bit bigger with a gimmick added. But here we finally have him in a Deluxe class, which is a little bit better for his size, you know. And he is very articulated. To go ahead and get the comparison out of the way, let me get him straightened out here. You can see he does have a good few joints. Here is Studio Series Cup right next to him. And yeah, that's not exactly how... The Studio Series does seem to be really good about scale and size. I don't believe that... I think Gnaw's the one outlier in the line where he's still not quite right. I do understand Hasbro not wanting, especially if they know that fans are going to want Army build the Sharkticons. I understand Hasbro not really wanting to give us a Voyager class Sharkticon, which I believe would probably give us the right scale if he was at Voyager class. But you can see he is a little bit smaller than he should be. I believe in the movie he was, in the robot modes, they were about this big. They were about the same height as Cup and Hot Rod in their robot modes. But other than that, he's actually a really good figure. You can see they got all the details right. There's not that many hollow bits. You know, we have a little hollow spot right here where the hands fold in. But he's not nearly, especially after the Titan's Return figure, which I actually thought was pretty good at the time. But now having this figure, yeah, this is definitely kind of the definitive Sharkticon experience. This is a nice little figure here. You can see he's pretty well painted. You know, we have the little red kind of robot detailings here, a little bit there, a little bit green. You got the Unicron, kind of the Unicron style belly there, Galvatron Unicron style. Got a little bit of paint right there. These blue pieces right here are actually painted. All the teeth are painted. This is actually painted. This whole purple piece right here is painted. Same with up here. This is all purple paint. This is silver paint. Got the greenish yellow paint right there. Got a little bit red at the top there. I don't know if the arms are painted. I don't believe so. I think these are just blue plastic. The cuffs here are actually painted because this is actually gray plastic, I believe. And I think that's it, but you can see there's large parts of this figure that are very well painted and very well color matched, actually. You know, like the paint here is a little bit darker, slightly darker than the legs are, but it's still close enough that you really couldn't tell it apart. Same thing with the blue here. They've got pretty good on the color matching for this figure, I'll give them that. Oh yeah, and the face is painted. Painted all white, green for the eyes, a little bit red right there, a little white stripe going down the back. He's very well painted. Like, I mean, large parts like his chest aren't painted for the most part, except for that little bit right there. But that's pretty much how he looked in the movie anyway, with just a plain gray or white stomach. So I gotta give Hasbro credit on that. That's actually a good amount of paint. They're making up for the size, as you saw. He's a bit smaller than most other Deluxes. But he is a bit bulkier. Like I said, Cup here. It's also Deluxe. He's taller, but he's also linkier. Gnaw here is bulk. He is definitely bulkier. Actually, kind of almost reminds me of the Bumblebee and Bulkhead from the back in Animated. Oh, in that case, one of them cost twice as more, was still shorter, so they're getting better. So he's a cool little figure. He does come with accessories. He's got this big old gun, like a very big gun. It actually kind of fills out scale. I don't believe he used a gun in the movie at all, not from what I remember. It might be something that came with the original G1 toy. I don't know. But he does come with a gun. It's a big old gun. Like, it is really big in his hand, so I'm not sure why it's so big, but he's got a big old gun. And it works. And of course, he's got the classic tail accessory. It's not just one molded piece this time, though. It actually has a hinge in it. So that's nice. So you can actually give that to him. Put in his little hip mitts there. You can have him point it forward, so that way you can kind of have it look like he's smashing into the ground, like he's in the mid flailing. If you wanted, there we go, get some pose like that. Kind of give it look like he's in the middle of hitting down with it. Or, you know, you can have it kind of slung back a little bit more. A little more of an over-the-shoulder carry. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. With just that one simple hinge, you can give him a lot of posability with it. Speaking of posability, head is ball jointed. You can turn left and right. It's a little bit tight on mine. Can look up and down slightly, mainly down, looking down to his own maw there. But can look up slightly. Do have universal at the shoulders. So you go there, you gotta go out there, get a swivel at the arm. Do get a hinge at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist, unfortunately. They're starting to skip out on the wrist articulation again. Nothing at the waist either. That's mainly due to the way it transforms, but after what they managed to pull off with Siege Ultra Magnus, I don't see that as an excuse anymore. They could have just made this an extra piece and made it where it could twist it around. So, universal hips, goes forward, goes back, goes outward. Although mine can't go out that far, they can only go out about 45 degrees because you start going further and the detail starts to make it pop back. You do get a swivel here. You do get a knee joint, and due to the transformation, you actually have a double knee joint, so you can do that if you wish. Get a full knee curl, like he's cheerleading. And you do get ankle rockers, though it's that kind of ankle rockers that completely breaks the foot, so if you go too far, it starts looking ridiculous. Yeah, let's get those little Mega Man boots standing. That's how I always feel. I see these and I just think they're Mega Man boots. That's all I can ever see. You see, certain poses that they look fine. You can barely even see that they're broken. But, you get a little more crazy with it, and yeah, it looks like somebody took an axe chop at his legs. But he does have the ankle rockers, so those are nice. Nothing forward or back. Well, you can technically count this, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's got little heel spurs that flip around. That doesn't do anything for articulation, so yeah, decent amount. Oh, I forgot. This is actually a separate piece. So he does have another accessory where he can hold his shark fin. Though due to how his legs are formed, he can't really hold it like as a weapon. It just can only hold it sideways like that. So if you want him to sideways shank somebody with his own shark fin, you can. But mainly I just keep that in the back there so I don't lose it. And the arms do pose around so you can get them out of the way of his arm articulation, the Sharkticon arms. So you can have them more up like that. You can have them more laid down against his back so they don't stick out as much. Whatever you prefer on those. And same thing with the jaw, it kind of moves around a little bit. It doesn't lock in. I think that's a good thing after King Cheetor, how his chest locks in, and that tab just broke off immediately anytime I used it on any of the figures. Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's fine that it doesn't tab in. It stays right there, gravity holds it in place usually, so I'm fine with it like that. So yeah, pretty good little robot mode for him. Let's get him into his Sharkticon mode. Start, we're just gonna take the hands, pop them in like that, pop them in like that, go ahead and fold up the heel spurs. This is where it starts getting a little crazy though. I like to go ahead and take the Sharkticon arms, just stick them up. Stick them up! This is robbery, stick them up. Okay, I'm stupid. Go ahead and remove the shark fin too, just that way it gets out of the way. Go ahead and take the whole back piece. It's going to lift right up, and just to show you how this works, there is a cross-shaped peg that goes into here. So that way it can click in but not be snug, and you can just pop it right back out. So all that folds forward, that folds his whole front forward, and you can see it kind of starts forming the Sharkticon face. Once you have that going, like I said, this is where it starts getting crazy. Once you have the Sharkticon face all forward, you're going to spin his chest plate around. So you can see here he is in robot mode, still starting. Chest plate has been switched around. Sharkticon head's down here. Just showing all that because it is a little bit crazy to get the first time. So now you're going to take the back piece here where the Sharkticon back was originally plugged in at. Just go ahead and lift it up and start rotating it up. You can see that's where the arms are attached. You're going to rotate that 90 degrees. Go ahead and get the legs situated. There you go. You're going to want the hands on the inside, obviously. Now, this is all going to fold up into here. I'm going to try to show it slowly so you can get a good idea. So you're going to bend right here at that joint that's at the ankle, the one that gives the double knee. Then bend the knee itself. So, bend the joint at the ankle, bend the knee. That's why he has two knee joints. It's that way he can form up into his Sharkticon mode. Then you're going to just tuck these in here. And there is a little peg. There's a peg hole around the tip of his foot there. And there's a peg right inside there. I think you can see, yeah. Right inside there, there's pegs. So you're going to just tuck his foot into there, peg it in. I am trying to show this on camera, but it's a little tricky. Tuck the foot in there, peg it in. Now this whole piece that we started with can flip up. I'll go over, there's that little tab on the back, right there on the shell. Tab that in. Bring the legs on down. Use the elbow joints as knees to kind of bend them in a little bit because his weight won't really hold them unless you bring them forward a little bit. As you see, the leg, it kind of puts the leg joints way at the back there. Let me adjust the camera. And now it's just parts forming. Going to take the mace, that forms a tail. Just peg it on the back, you know how this goes. Take the shark fin, peg it in like that. I will say this is very loose. This is, doesn't fall out, but This is very loose. It might be looser, even looser on yours where it does fall out. So watch out for that. Go ahead and bring your arms on down. Get them all situated. And there you have your Sharkticon in its Sharkticon mode. I guess I should say Gnaw in its Sharkticon mode. And it's a pretty good little Sharkticon mode. It looks like it. It's big. It's vicious looking. It's like a puppy on rabies. It's gonna mess you up. So I've always liked the Sharkticon. I always like the Alcons and the Sharkticons. They've always been a neat design for me. Get them a little bit more kind of sitting up like that so you can get a good look at him. Grin for his picture. It's school picture day. Let's go ahead and bring Cup. Size comparison, and you can see, yeah, he's still, even at deluxe scale, too small. You know, if we get him more standing up, facing Cup, you know, this is still a significant threat, the Cup here, but it's not as significant as it was in the movie. You know, in the movie, it was a little bit, I want to say he came up to, the top of their heads came up to about their chest level. So, I do think a Voyager scale probably would have got him a little bit better scale with Cup and Hot Rod. But at the same time, it's still big enough. It's still danger, gives them a significant danger. You can still get a good set going with this in the Quintessons. So we're going to get Cup out here and focus back on Gnaw here. Of course, he still does have another accessory, his gun. And if you notice, he has those little tabs sticking out the side of the ammo. I think that's where the ammo goes. I could be wrong. But that little tab goes right there in that hole, pegs right in. Gives him an over-the-head gun, or over-the-shoulder gun. I think it actually looks pretty cool. I do think it still looks a little too big. Like, it's literally just hanging on by the ammo piece there. So I do, or ammo clip. Is it called an ammo clip? Could be wrong on that. Gun enthusiast, correct me down below. But yeah, I think it just tabs in by the ammo clip, which does look a little strange. I do think it probably would have looked a little better if it tabs, say, just a little bit further down like that. But, you know, they got the gun on there. He has all of his weapons stored. And it does make him a much more significant threat, so that works very well for a Sharkticon. Posability in this mode, it's basically the same. There's a few differences. Tail, because it's pegged in, can swivel around. The hinge still works. You can get his tail all the way up, or you can have him kind of dragging along behind him. Fin turns, twists around if you prefer it to twist in a different direction. The leg hips are the same as the arm joint, so, you know, full universal movement there. Swivel, elbow becomes the knees. Pretty typical stuff we've always kind of seen in the Beast style figures. The Sharkticon arms are on a hinge, no ball joint, just on the hinge. And thankfully they did put the elbow on a separate joint, so you're not stuck with permanent bend elbows or permanent straight out arms. So you can kind of get him, you can kind of make it look like he's having a migraine, right? Like, you know, side duck. Wait, wrong series. But, yeah. It's actually pretty nicely posable. You can kind of make him look like he's about, if you gave him an object to hold, you could probably make it look like he's about to eat something. Oh, I forgot, when you're transforming it to Sharkticon mode, you take the robot head and kind of tuck it down a little bit more, and that hides it a little bit better in his maw. It does make it stick out the bottom there, but it does kind of help hide it a little bit more. But yeah, there's only so far down it goes. It's, if you open it more than like that, you're going to see Gnaw's head. You know, if you do like the full big maw opening, yeah. Gnaw's head's just right there. It's kind of one of the problems with the figure, but one of the few problems it does have. And if we're looking at it from the sides, yeah, it's just kind of the robot legs folded up right there, just completely out for you to see. I will give him this, as far as like scene wise, there's not like any pieces missing. It doesn't look like he's missing his side panel or something. At least as far as color goes, yeah. But as far as like how much it lines up with everything, no, it looks like a side. It just looks like everything's discolored. But let's be honest, how often do you look at Sharkticon from side? You look at him face on, you staring down that evil, toothy grin. And I will say, from the front, that looks like a very vicious little Sharkticon. And definitely one of the best ones that we've ever officially gotten. You know, there's third-party ones that are better, there's even knockoffs that are better. But as far as an official Hasbro one, this is definitely one of the best. Especially given the transformation, given the robot mode, given that it is a deluxe scale figure. I do think he's a really good Gnaw/Sharkticon. He's painted well, he's articulated decently in both modes. I do feel like they kind of gypped us on the, if they had given us either a wrist swivel or a waist swivel, I would be fine missing the other one, but missing both kind of does bother me in robot mode. But also, like I said, when do we ever really display Sharkticons in robot mode? Most people, if you have a Sharkticon, you're displaying it in its Sharkticon mode. There's a couple problems, like I said. Sides are kind of exposed. You move with the mouth any at all, the head's exposed. The jaw, on mine, the bottom jaw is very loose, and I have seen other figures from friends that are also very loose, so not completely wide scale problem, but is a common problem. Did I show? Oh yeah, I forgot to show the mouth. The top part of the mouth also hinges upward, so you can kind of give them a wider jaw without opening up the head. So if you do more like that for a bite action, you can kind of still hide the robot mode head pretty well. So there are options there. So overall, yeah, he's worth 20. Where are we at now? 22.95, something like that. I don't know the exact price. The Transformers more on Amazon. It was around 20. I paid 22 something for him, and I think he's worth it. Such you know, he's a good figure. He's not perfectly in scale, but he's a good Sharkticon. Like I said, one of the best we've ever gotten officially. So he fits in well. I kind of hope we eventually do get like a Voyager scale one to kind of fit better with Grimlock, especially when that one scene when the Dinobots come in and just crush a whole horde of them. But overall, great figure, decent price, decent size, really good paint and detail. Definitely recommend. So go out and get you. Take care.